Did you know that your nose is lying to you right now, and that your house might have unbearable odors that only your guests notice? Today we're going to reveal the smelly secrets that make your guests hold their breath. Go ahead and leave a like if you have the courage to discover the truth about the air you breathe. Number 1. The smell of old grease embedded in the sofa. You know that habit of frying delicious food without turning on the exhaust fan or closing the kitchen door while preparing dinner. The greasy smoke travels freely through the house and silently settles on the fabric of your sofa, creating a sticky, invisible layer. Over time, this grease oxidizes and exudes a smell of rancid oil that you've become accustomed to. But it hits your guest's nose like a punch to the gut as soon as they sit down to chat in your living room. Number 2. The smell of used cat litter. Even if you are the cleanest pet owner in the world and remove the waste daily, the penetrating smell of ammonia from feline urine soaks into the plastic of the litter box. To you, accustomed to the routine, it's just the natural smell of having a kitty. But for anyone entering your home, it's an acidic, pungent, and unmistakable odor that dominates the environment, immediately signaling the presence of an animal toilet right in the middle of your living area. Number 3. The smell of closet mustiness that gets on your clothes. That jacket you pulled from the back of the closet may look clean, but it carries invisible spores of moisture that have accumulated for months in the dark. When you hug someone or sit next to a guest, you transfer that characteristic aroma of old people, or a closed-up attic, an earthy, damp smell that silently screams that your clothes haven't seen sunlight or ventilation in a long time, leaving an immediate impression of neglect. Number 4. The smell of wet dog on the carpet. On rainy or high humidity days, the natural bacteria and yeasts on your dog's skin react with water and transfer to the fibers of the carpet where it usually lies. While you find your pet's rest cute, the carpet begins to evaporate a musky, dense, and heavy odor, turning your living room into a veritable olfactory kennel that suffocates anyone not used to canine biology, even if the dog is no longer in the room. Number 5. The smell from the dry drain in the guest bathroom. That social lavatory or guest bathroom that is rarely used hides a silent villain in its plumbing, the P-trap that has dried out from lack of use. Without the water barrier to block the passage, sewer gases return freely through the pipe, filling the small room with a sulfurous, rotten smell that a guest instantly senses upon opening the door, often thinking that someone just used the toilet and didn't flush. Number 6. The smell of a cold ashtray on the curtains. You might swear that smoking at the window with your head outside solves the problem, but the smoke is treacherous. It comes back inside and clings desperately to the curtain weaves. The result is not the smell of fresh tobacco, but of a cold ashtray and old, accumulated cigarette butts, a bitter and persistent odor that taints the home's atmosphere and makes any non-smoker taste something bad in their mouth immediately upon entering the room. Number 7. The sleep smell in the guest room. The guest room, kept closed to avoid dust, accumulates carbon dioxide and old body odors trapped in the mattresses and pillows. When you open the door for a guest to settle in, what comes out is a hot, heavy breath of air, the famous smell of stale air or a slept-in room, which gives an immediate feeling of claustrophobia and lack of hygiene, as if the air in that place were dead and never renewed. Number 8. The sour smell of the kitchen sponge. In the kitchen sink resides one of the biggest bacteria hotspots in the house, the damp sponge that hasn't been properly sanitized, dried, or replaced in time. It exudes a sour smell similar to spoiled milk mixed with fermented food scraps, which spreads throughout the kitchen and, even worse, transfers this repugnant aroma to the dishes and glasses you swear are clean when serving a glass of water to your guest. Number 9. The smell of shoes and stinky feet in the hallway. The practical habit of taking off shoes at the entrance creates an invisible olfactory barrier composed of dried sweat and bacteria, concentrated in a single strategic point of the house. As soon as the front door opens, the guest is greeted by a waft of air smelling of cheese and dampness, a disastrous calling card that you no longer notice because your nasal receptors shut off as soon as you get home from work and get used to the environment. Number 1. 0. The smell of fried fish from 3 days ago. Frying, especially fish and seafood, releases fine grease particles that solidify on the walls, cabinets, and even the kitchen ceiling. Days later, the smell oxidizes and turns into a rancid and pervasive odor that doesn't go away with simple ventilation, making the guest feel as if they are inside a poorly ventilated diner, even if you haven't cooked anything for hours and the kitchen is seemingly sparkly. Number 11. The smell of dampness on the hand towels. The hand towels in the guest bathroom, often damp due to poor air circulation, become the perfect environment for the accelerated proliferation of silent bacteria and fungi. To you, it's just a used towel, but when a guest dries their hands and brings the fabric to their face, they are hit by a pungent odor of sour mold and stagnant moisture, a sticky tactile and olfactory sensation that gives the immediate impression that the home's personal hygiene has been neglected. Number 12. The smell of fermenting organic trash. We often forget to wash the bottom of the trash can after taking out the bag, allowing drips of leachate and organic debris to create an invisible crust of active fermentation on the plastic. This chemical process releases sweet and nauseating decomposition gases that hang in the kitchen like a toxic cloud, a smell that the resident mistakes for the smell of food, but for an outsider, it is the unmistakable and repulsive aroma of trash slowly rotting under the lid. Number 13. The smell of cleaning products mixed with dirt. Trying to mask bad odors by throwing strong disinfectants on surfaces that haven't been deeply cleaned creates a disastrous olfactory mix that a guest's brain rejects. The smell of lavender or pine fights with the odor of urine or ingrained dirt in the grout, resulting in that synthetic and cloying fragrance typical of a bus station bathroom, where the cheap perfume only serves to further highlight the lack of a real cleaning, assaulting the visitor's sense of smell. Number 14. The smell of sour milk. An old accident with spilled milk on the upholstery or the living room carpet may seem visually resolved, but the milk proteins have penetrated deep into the fibers and are still there. With heat, these particles start to ferment again, releasing an acidic and repulsive smell very similar to that of dried vomit, a sneaky odor that appears out of nowhere and makes the guest look around searching for the source of this extremely unpleasant and embarrassing biological smell. Number 15. The smell of old carpet. Old carpets act like giant sponges that have absorbed years of dust, dead skin cells, and moisture from the subfloor, creating their own ecosystem of stuffy and dense odors. Even with vacuuming, the old fibers exude a constant smell of old dust and degraded synthetic material, a heavy aroma that fills the environment and gives the feeling that the house is sick or that the air is too dense to be breathed comfortably by someone with allergies. Number 16. The smell of burning dust when you turn on the heater. On the first cold days, when you turn on the heater that has been sitting idle and accumulating dust for months, the dirt particles are literally toasted on the internal heating elements. This process spreads a dry, toasty, and metallic smell through the room, which irritates the respiratory tract and makes a guest feel as if they are breathing invisible soot, a clear sign that the appliances were not maintained and cleaned before being put into us. Number 7. The smell of rancid dog food. A bag of pet food left open or the dog's bowl that isn't washed after every meal releases animal oils and fats that oxidize quickly in contact with the ambient air. The result is a smell of rancid processed meat and old grease that dominates the laundry or kitchen area, a pervasive and cloying odor that you associate with feeding your pet, but which to a guest is a smell of decomposition that completely ruins the appetite. Number 18. The smell of sweat on the dining chair upholstery. The upholstered chairs in the dining room are silent victims of long meals and conversations, absorbing the sweat and body heat of dozens of people over the years. Without deep cleaning, the fabric begins to exude a subtle but persistent smell of humanity and accumulated sour sweat, which becomes noticeable precisely when a guest pulls out a chair to sit and eat, creating a less than pleasant and hygienic olfactory dining experience. Number 19. The smell of a dirty floor mop. The classic mistake of reusing the water in the bucket or not washing the mop well after use means you're spreading bacteria instead of cleaning the house. As it dries, the floor exudes that unmistakable smell of stagnant water and rotten fabric, known as the mop smell, which leaves the environment with an air of damp and dirty neglect, ironically right after you've gone through all the hard work of cleaning the ooze. Number 20. The smell of garlic seeping from the house's pores. Cooking with a lot of garlic and onion daily creates oily vapors that penetrate the porosity of the walls, curtains, and even the wood of the furniture, impregnating the structure of the house. While for you it's the smell of home cooking, for someone entering it is an odor of cold sauté and old seasoning that saturates the air, as if the whole house were sweating garlic, creating a greasy atmosphere that clings to the clothes and hair of anyone who visits for just a few minutes. Number 21. The smell of a lack of sun and ventilation. The daily lack of air renewal, keeping windows and curtains closed to protect furniture or out of habit, creates a stagnant atmosphere where all the previous odors mix. It is the smell of a closed-up house, a stuffy, stale, and sad aroma that signals the absence of sun and circulating life, causing a guest to feel an instinctive and urgent need to go outside just to breathe pure oxygen and feel the wind on their face. Again, final thoughts. Overcoming olfactory blindness requires constant vigilance and a cleaning routine that goes beyond what the eyes can see, ensuring your home is as pleasant to smell as it is to look at for everyone who enters it. If you want to avoid these embarrassments and keep your home always fresh and inviting, subscribe to the channel now for more essential home care tips, leave a like to support our work, and tell us in the comments. Which of these smells have you ever noticed in someone's house and never had the courage to mention?